Peace and love, family. Peace and love. It's your boy Chris Enlightened coming back again with some more spiritual vittles. And today I'm going in on why are you suffering? This is a good one, family. This is a good one. Why are you suffering? This is a question that you must ask yourself. No one can tell you why you're suffering. This is a question that you must ask yourself. If you never ask yourself, why am I suffering? You'll never get on the road to fixing your suffering. You know, for years, every year around September and August, I had money problems when my daughter was a baby. I don't know what it was around that time of year, getting school clothes ready, getting all the things she needed for school. In my mind, that was the time of the year that I was going to have money problems. And I kept suffering every year because of it, because I believed it. And when you believe that things that cause you suffering, you will suffer. If you believe in things that suffer, you're telling the universe that I'm okay with suffering. Until you give up all the things that has a suffering motif in your life, you continue to suffer. You continue to suffer. Now, when I see people continuously watching the news, listening to negative people, having negative practices, always thinking pessimistic, regardless of what you think they can have all the tangible items in the world, nice house, nice car, beautiful wife, beautiful husband, lovely kids. But that doesn't equate to happiness. That doesn't equate to happiness. The things you do let people know who you really are, because you're drawn to what's inside of you. So if you're always suffering, somehow within your unconscious, subconscious mind, or even conscious mind, you're okay with suffering. You loathe it. You need it. One thing about suffering in light is this. Me personally, I think there's an amalgamation of light, a whole bunch of suffering out there. And it's easy to adhere to you. Light and things like that is there. But love, joy, happiness, that's something you have to create. You can look outside and see there's not an abundance of love and joy going on. Yeah, there's a lot of beauty and things like that. That's a manifestation of the Creator's love for you. But most people don't see that. Why? Because their mindset dictates what occurs in their reality. I know a lot of people that's suffering. Well, I don't want to say a lot of people, but I do know a lot of people that's suffering. And I've helped a lot of people usurp their divinity and choose no longer to suffer. But one thing that I know is true, and I found to be true, is that when people suffer, they can't give up suffering things that cause them to suffer. I'm not going to say any names, but I know some people that just can't give up the news. They just can't give it up. No matter how many times I tell them, like, listen, this news is bad for you. It's programming. I look at the TV as the one-eyed snake or the one-eyed demon, because what comes on that TV manipulates your thoughts. It makes you want things. It makes you need things. It makes you afraid. It makes you believe things that if you never turned the TV on, those ideologies wouldn't even be floating in your consciousness like that. So you got to be mindful of all the suffering things that lead to suffering in your life. You got to be mindful of it. Now, once you evolve and you realize you're a God and you're indifferent to things, you can go and watch TV and watch movies and all that stuff. But what you'll find is you won't even have a desire to do those things. You won't even have a desire to do those things. But again, we're all human. We're all human. We're going to grow. We're going to make mistakes. There are certain things that we just like. And even when you evolve, you're going to still go back and do some of the things that you used to do, just to see if it changes your mindset. You know what I mean? Personally, I no longer curse, because I know it's the language of demons. Go back and watch my video, The Language of Demons. Ooh, it's a banger. I mentioned how curse words are used by demons to allow to coerce humans to invoke their energy in your life and the people around you. I remember growing up in the hood, there was a lot of pestilence down there. There's a lot of bad news down in the hood, Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm here to tell you, family. All those challenges helped me evolve. But one thing a lot of people make the mistake is not knowing that there's duality in our reality. The same way in the burbs or in these rich neighborhoods, rich folks need a place to go. because they have wealth consciousness. People who have poverty consciousness usually tend to go to places where poverty is running rampant. In places like that, there's poverty consciousness, there's spiritual poverty, there's emotional poverty, there's relationship poverty. All facets of life, all facets of poverty goes on in poverty-stricken environments. And it's all due and akin to the way people think. And I can speak on this because I was in the hood for years. The first 18 years of my life, well, 17 and a half years of my life was in the hood. And then one day I just told my mom, if we don't move, I'm going to be dead. You know what I mean? And my mom did what she had to do. And within 30 days, we moved. She seen it in my eyes. I was crying out to her. And at the time in the early 90s like that, a lot of brothers was getting killed just like they getting killed today, unfortunately. And I would have been a statistic if I wouldn't have got out the hood. Not that I was a negative dude. Negativity was around me. You can't dip yourself in a vat of negativity and don't think you're going to get negativity on you. You know what I'm saying? There's a thing called herding consciousness. Whoever you're around, more than likely you'll think like them. More than likely. Unless you're like a leader like myself. I was always trying to help people think about their dreams. I would take people out the hood and things like that, go to different parks in different parts of the city. But one thing that I found to be true again, when people don't dissolve their negative thinking or their poverty consciousness, when you take them out of a poverty-stricken place, they bring the poverty consciousness with them. And a lot of my friends, unfortunately, was bringing that hood mindset out to the burbs where it wasn't even prevalent. It was scaring people. And I realized then, like, you know what? I can't get in front of people's karma like that. Even though I've evolved, all these challenges, all these unfavorable things helped me to evolve to the young God I was. My homies didn't think of it like that. They didn't see reality like that. You know what I mean? So I had to learn early that, man, I got to dissolve the amount of negativity in my life, and I had to let a lot of friends go. I'm talking about people I grew up with since we was babies. I had to stop hanging around them because our mindset didn't sync. And one thing about your dark side and your light side is this. You need both of them. You need both of them. You want to create a harmonious balance between the two. Me, I'm a naturally good dude. I'm a naturally passive guy, naturally. But unfortunately, the environment that I grew up in coerced me to have this warrior spirit. You know, I don't care who you are. Everyone has their limit. 5 years old, I had reached my limit. I was done. And from 5 years old until I moved out the hood, I was a little different. But once I got out the hood and got around peace, I started to think. I started to go back and start meditating again. And then I just changed my life. Met my wife. 28 years later, we're still together. You know what I'm saying? Because she was on a peaceful journey in the burbs. I didn't move out to the burbs, but I wasn't in the hood no more. But there wasn't a lot of screaming, fighting, and violence going around me. One thing that I noticed that when I went to college when I was 19 down in Atlanta, Georgia, shout out to Decatur, Georgia, and DeVry. I realized that once I left Cincinnati and went to another place, although it was the hood, it was a different type of hood, I couldn't even sleep at night the first few weeks because it was too quiet. I was used to a lot of chaos around me, and I went to sleep to it. The same way some people need a fan to go to sleep, some people need the TV on, some people need the light on. I needed to hear chaos. And then when I didn't hear the chaos, I was like, man, what's going on? Somebody trying to break in? I felt as if it was too quiet. Now, when I go back to the hood for whatever reason, like if I need to see some family members, a cookout, whatever, I realize, man, I don't miss this at all. You know what I'm saying? Because I chose to evolve past my need to have a need to suffer. And you do have to do the same thing, family. Going forward, these videos are going to be heartfelt. Going forward, I want to challenge you all to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video. You know what I'm saying? Share your favorite video. You don't have to share all my videos, but share my favorite video. I'm doing this stuff for you guys. I know all this stuff. I'm over here winning. But I felt the need after I finished my 6-book Seas of Time to come and show you guys like, hey, I'm still out here. I just was productive. And me personally, when I get productive like this, I immerse myself in whatever I'm doing. I don't allow negativity or suffering to deter me for anything that I do. Sometimes when you tell someone your dreams, if they're not a visionary, you can't tell a non-visionary a visionary's dream, for one thing. But if you tell someone that's not a visionary, they're going to see themselves in you and tell you what you can't do because they can't fathom themselves doing it. So you got to be really peculiar about who you spend your time with when you're talking about your dreams and your success stories and all the things you're trying to manifest. Because suffering comes in many forms, family. Suffering comes in many forms. Sometimes suffering comes with a smile. You know what I mean? That smile will break down your barriers and then they'll get you suffering later. But I'm here to tell you, family, if you don't have any suffering inside of you, if you don't forgive yourself for all the things that you've done in the past, acknowledge them and give thanks for them. When you forgive something, you feel as if something's wrong. There's nothing wrong with going through unfavorable situations. It's a part of the path. There's an infinite, a litany, a myriad of paths that any human can take. But we all gonna end up on an end road at one day. We start on the same road and we're gonna end on the road. Where we go after we hit that road is going to be different depending upon your karma, your mindset state, and how much light and darkness you've used. But I'm here to tell you, family, now that you know about Dharma, and Dharma is nothing more than doing positive things to dissolve some of your negative karma that's been following you from incarnation after incarnation. So now that you know about Dharma, start doing more Dharma. Start buying people's food. Start buying people's groceries, holding doors, asking people how their day was. Buying people's coffee. You don't always have to be about money. You could just be like, how was your day? And earnestly look at them in their eyes. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I want you to start conveying love and joy and compassion. That's how you dissolve suffering. Start having more gratitude. That's the key right there. Gratitude is the key, family. Because if you have gratitude, you cannot suffer. Gratitude and suffering is two different subspace domains. I don't care what's going on. You start giving thanks. You start having this rich, bellowing feeling of gratitude in your lower dantian. You're going to start feeling this tingle in you. You're going to start feeling this tingle in you. And that's void of suffering. So me personally, I'm always trying to stay in it. Well, not trying. I'm always in a state of gratitude, giving thanks. I was just telling my wife last night. I was like, babe, we sit here and watching one TV show she liked, one girly TV show she liked. I think it was like The Bachelorette or something like that, Tell All. And I was like, you know what? I love my life. You know, I was thinking about where I've come from and all the things and friends that are dead, friends that kill people, friends that are locked up for years, friends that'll never get out. And we all grew up the same. None of our daddies was in our life. We grew up eating the same foods, eating free cheese and things like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here. I'm here now. Some of them made it out, but the majority of us didn't. They never got off that human wall of suffering because they're still suffering. And if you choose to suffer, you're choosing to adhere yourself to the human wall of suffering, family. It's always your choice. Consciousness equals choice. No matter where you are in your life, it's your fault. And not fault in a bad way. It's just who you are. You know what I'm saying, family? So when you wake up tomorrow, if you've been suffering today, before you go to bed, tell yourself over and over and fall asleep to this mantra. I'm done with this suffering. I'm going to usurp my divinity. All my ancestors, known and unknown, are with me. We out here winning. And in the beginning, it's not going to feel like anything new. You're still going to feel some resonance of suffering, but don't acknowledge it. Stay steadfast on your winning path, family. It's just as simple as that. So hopefully you got some Jews on why you may be suffering. You want to support me, go out to Amazon.com, pick up any one of my 6 books, not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but 6 books. The Enlightened Thoth, Poverty Consciousness, Wealth Consciousness, Dissolving Your Limitations, Consciousness Equals Choice, and my 6th book, Seeds of Time. Ooh, they all bangers. So on that note, family, you already know what I'm doing. I missed you all. It's been 4 months, but I'm still over here winning.